Fortnite is well known for having many different weapons and variants and multiple rarities for these weapons. AR, SMG, shotgun, sniper, goo gun, prop gun, rocket launchers, everything. But what about the melee weapons? Well, that's what we'll be talking about in today's video as we go over every melee weapon in the history of Fortnite Battle Royale. Coming up first, we of course have the harvesting tool, or as literally everyone calls it, the pickaxe. The trusty old pickaxe. We all spawn in with one and they come in many different shapes, colors, and sizes. We use it to get materials mainly, but you can also deal damage to other players with it. The pickaxe used to do 10 damage, and there was even a point in time where it used to do 11 damage per swing during the release of Battle Royale. But as of right now, we know it to do 20 damage. Next up, we have the lightsabers. I think these are honestly pretty simple. They were first introduced in Chapter 2 Season 1 during the Star Wars collab, and they were all mythic upon release. There were a few different lightsabers based on variations from the characters in Star Wars, however, they all did the same amount of damage. You could also block with them for a limited amount of shots before it had a cooldown. Moving on, we have ODM Gear. It was introduced in Chapter 4 Season 2 along with the Attack on Titan collab. Its main function was actually movement, as it would allow you to grapple around the map similar to the grapple glove. However, you could also perform melee attacks with the blades dealing 70 damage a shot. Due to the durability though, you were only able to attack about 16 times. Next, we have Thors Stormbreaker. It was introduced in Season 8 alongside the endgame LTM. There were 3 different things you could do with it. Swing attack, throw it, or even use it to launch yourself up into the air. And with the different attacks, you were able to do all the way up to even 225 damage sometimes. Also, fun fact about this one, you could also farm materials with it. Next up, we have the Howler claws. They were introduced in Chapter 3 Season 4, and you could get them from emoting at the alteration altar. I hope I said that right. You could use them to dash forward quickly and slash enemy players, dealing 35 damage per swing. On top of that, you could also use your Howl ability to reveal nearby enemies' location, which was on a 20-second cooldown. Also, we're just going to quickly throw in the Wolverine claws with that because they basically do the same thing. Moving on, we have Thorns Vampiric Blade. It was introduced in Chapter 4 Season 4, and to get it you had to eliminate the Kato Thorn boss. I hope I said that correctly too. Forgive me if I'm messing up these names. Anyways, it was basically the Kinetic Blade. You could dash forward and also use it to slash enemy players just as you would expect from a sword. Next up, we have the Ageless Champion's Shockwave Hammer, which you of course could get by eliminating the Ageless Champion boss. It was introduced in Chapter 4 Season 1 and it was pretty much just a mythic version of the normal Shockwave Hammer. They have the same functions, being able to slam it down to damage players and structures and also using it to bounce around as a mobility item. The only difference is that the Ageless Champion Shockwave Hammer had 5 bounce charges rather than 3. Also, a fun fact about this one, this is the longest name for a Fortnite item. Next up, we have the infamous Infinity Blade. It was introduced in Season 7, and to get it, you had to pull it out of its pedestal at Polar Peak. It was a huge sword, and you could swing it around dealing 75 damage per swing. Once you equipped it, everything else in your inventory would be dropped. You weren't able to carry any other items at all. You could also use it to jump up and slam down to deal damage, as well as using it as a mobility item. This weapon was very hated at the time because it was the most unfair thing in the game. What makes it even worse is that it was kept in the game during the Winter Royale tournament at the time. This sword left its mark on Fortnite for sure. Moving on, we have the Sideways Scythe. It was introduced in Chapter 2 Season 8 and of course could be found in sideways locations. They came in Rare, Epic, Legendary, and Mythic, with you being able to upgrade the rarity using the Cube Monster parts. You could swing this thing around with the Mythic version doing 46 damage per swing. You could also use it to dash forward and jump in the air and smash down. Next, we have the Kingsman Umbrella. It was introduced in Chapter 2 Season 2. This melee weapon was fairly normal rather than the fact that you could also use it to glide for short periods of time. You could also use it to block and perform melee attacks, of course. The Kingsman Umbrella also allowed you to do charge attacks, which could actually do up to 1000 damage to structures. Next up, we have a very recent one, which is the Grapple Blade. It was introduced in Chapter 5, Season 1, and you can tell by the name, it's a grappling hook with a blade. With this, you could grapple around the map, somewhat similar to the grapple glove, but you could also sling this blade around, dealing about 70 damage per swing. You could also grapple directly onto enemy players, and it would bring you straight to them. So sometimes if an enemy was trying to fly or glide away, you could just grapple onto them repeatedly, which is kind of crazy. The next one, even though it's technically not a melee weapon, we're still going to add it, and that's the Kinetic Boomerang. Added in Chapter 4, Season 3, you could of course throw this at people and it would deal 60 damage per hit. That's pretty much all for that one. And the next one we have also isn't a melee weapon either, but it's just too cool to leave off, and it's very new, so we're going to go ahead and throw it in here. And that is the Thunderbolt of Zeus. With this weapon, you would be suspended into the air and you would literally throw lightning bolts down on enemy players. You would throw 2 bolts quickly, one after another, and then the last one you would charge up to throw it and it would deal even more damage. Moving on, we have She-Hulk's Fist. It's a superpower that was introduced in Chapter 2, Season 4. With this ability, you were able to melee, of course, which multiplies damage when you combo it. You could also jump up and smash down, plus you were able to launch yourself into the air and be able to perform dodges. Next up, we have the Aman Sniper Rifle, or the Aman Sniper Rifle, however you pronounce it. I'm sorry. I don't think I even was playing Fortnite during this time. I think during the time that this weapon came out, I was taking a break from Fortnite, so I didn't even know this was a thing until recently. But anyways, it was introduced in Chapter 2, Season 5, and you could get it by defeating the Mandalorian boss. It's a very simple weapon. It was a sniper that had a custom thermal scope, but also was able to melee by not scoping in when you press the shoot button. It was used pretty much like a bayonet. And last but not least, we have the Ninja Turtle Mythics, which each one, of course, being the weapon of each respective Ninja Turtle. Each one of these functions the same way. You can do combo attacks with them for up to 200 damage. You can dash through the air with them and slam down from the air doing damage as well. It would have definitely been cool if they maybe did different damages depending on the weapons, but I think it's fair that they're all pretty much the same. At least the attack styles are different with them. And with that, we have gone over every melee weapon in the history of Fortnite's Battle Royale mode. These videos are a lot of fun to research and make, so I hope you guys enjoy. If I missed anything in this video, please let me know in the comments, and also let me know what video you want to see next. I want to say thank you to everyone who supported me so far. I know 1,000 might not be a big number compared to so many other channels, but it's honestly crazy to me that I'm able to see a number like that. And on top of that, all the supportive comments I've been getting really means a lot to me. Anyways, y'all have a blessed day.